A lookup field allows you to select a value from a list when populating a table with information. Like validation rules and default values, this is another tool that you can use to ensure that the information in your Access database is valid and consistently entered. I'm going to go ahead and open up our employees table here. I've got a field called status, and when I look through the table, I'll notice that I have 4 distinct categories of employees: full-time, half-time, contract, and hourly. I want to turn this into a lookup list to help speed up the entry for new employees. I'll switch to Design View to do this. I'm going to go to my status field here and take a look at the lookup field here. Currently it's set to text box. This allows me to type in a value. Access provides a wizard that will walk us through creating a lookup list for a brand new field, but unfortunately doesn't provide the wizard to convert an existing field into a lookup list field. So for this example, I'm going to first create a duplicate status field using the wizard so that we can see what the options are, and then we'll use that knowledge to convert the existing status field into a lookup. This way, I won't lose the existing status information for the 700 plus employees already in the database. Now I'm going to go up to the ribbon in the Tools group here. There's a button called Modify Lookups, but when I hover over it, the tooltip says Insert Lookup Column. This button might be named differently on your computer. I'll click this button here, and the lookup wizard starts. We have 2 options. We can either choose to get the lookup field values from a table or query, or we can type in the values I want. I'll go ahead and type in the values. Go ahead and say Next. And now Access brings up a little table here where we can type in the values for our fields. Here we're going to type in full-time, half-time, contract, and hourly. We'll go ahead and say Next. Now we can name our new field. I'm going to call this Status 2. Notice that we have a checkbox to limit to list. If we leave this off, we can choose from the list or type in whatever we want. I'll turn Limit to List on to prevent other values from getting entered. We could also choose to store multiple values, but that really doesn't make sense in this case because an employee can't be 2 statuses at the same time. I'll go ahead and say Finish to complete the fields. We'll see we have a new Status 2 field here, entered right above Status, and its lookup properties have been changed to Combo Box, Value List, and here are our values. Let's go ahead and see how this works. I'll save the changes to the structure of my table, and I'll switch to Datasheet View. Now I've got the Status 2 field, and when I click there, it becomes a combo box where I can select a value to populate the list. I'll choose a full-time here. Now let's take that knowledge back into Design View, and we'll convert our existing status field into a lookup list. I'll go back to Design View. We'll take a look at the existing properties for our existing status field. I'll click there. I'll see the lookup property is set to text box, but when I change that here to a combo box, I get all the additional properties. So now we just need to copy over what we learned from the other field. Our row source type, instead of table query, we're going to choose value list. And our row source, this is where we type in the values we want to appear. I'll type in full-time, semicolon to separate the fields, half-time, semicolon, contract, semicolon, and hourly. I have some additional properties down below. Here is the limit to list property we saw in the wizard. I'm going to change that to yes. I can allow multiple values. I'll leave that to no. I can also allow value list edits. If somebody tries to type in a new value and it's not in the list, Access might allow them to add it to the list. Here, I don't want to allow them to add new values, so I'll leave that to no. I'll switch back into Datasheet View. We'll save the changes to the structure. And we'll take a look at the original status column. We'll see all of our values are still there, but when I click on it, it becomes a combo list. This will greatly speed up entry when we try and enter in a new employee. Now the only thing left is to get rid of this other duplicate Status 2 field. One more time, back in Design View. I'll select the Status 2 field, and I'll press Delete Rows from the ribbon. It'll ask me if I want to permanently delete them, and I'll say yes. Now my table is complete. I can close it and save the changes. So in addition to providing control over what gets entered, lookup lists can dramatically speed up data entry as well.